Hey you guys, welcome back to Libro review. I hope you're doing very nice and I'm sending a lot of hugs and positivity to all of you. In today's video, I'm going to be recommending around 14 books for beginners. I've got this question 1,000 times now and I really want everybody to become a reader, and I know that these are the few books that will help you to turn into a fiction reader or a non-fiction reader. So we have recommendations for fiction lovers, we have recommendations for non-fiction lovers, we have recommendations for anybody who wants to start with fiction, we have recommendations for anybody who wants to start with non-fiction. All kinds of recommendations, there's something for everybody. Let's begin. We're starting with fiction and I want to get clear of the first two books because I've recommended them already 1,000 times before. I'm going to get done with them very quickly because I don't want to repeat my recommendations a lot of times, and those two books are The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho and The Ultimate Gift by Stovall. These are the two books that made me a reader. I fell in love with reading because of these books. Actually, I don't remember which book I read first, but it was back to back. One day I read this, the next day I read this, because they're both so thin and they are so interesting, and the language is so easy, so you don't even need to Google search a lot of words and everything. And this book helps you to become a very grateful person, whereas this book helps you to understand that you can dream as big as you want to, and it teaches you how to follow your dreams. But both of them are fiction. They're in a story format, so they're a mix of fiction plus non-fiction, and they're one of the best books to start with if you want to fall in love with reading. If you want to know more about what these books are about, the description or something, the blurb, I'm going to leave it down in the description box below because I don't want to take a lot of time of this video for these two books, simply because I've recommended them 10,000 times before. The next book I want to recommend is I Hid My Voice by Perino Shinee. I hope that's how you pronounce the name. This is the story of Shahab, who is a mute child because he thinks that all the children who are mute and who do not speak are the good children and they are the children of his mother. On the other hand, any other kid who is a bad child and who can speak are the children of his father, and he wants to be the child of his mother because he sees how his mother is going through a lot of problems and he really wants to be there for her all the time. He keeps mute, but there are a lot of mysteries behind him being mute and how he finds his voice. Now, if you want to read something slightly dark, something child-centric, something with an easy language, and at the same time something that will make you really emotional and understand the psychology of children a little bit, then this book is meant for you. I love reading this book so much. The best part is the picture of this guy on the cover, because this is what I imagine Shahab to look like, and this kid doing all the things that he has done in the book, I imagine everything and I'm like, oh my god. Next book I'm going to recommend is Radio Silence by Osmond. Now this book is also available as audiobook. This is the story of Frances, who is an introvert child and she has these ambitions that she wants to go to a certain college and stuff like that. She's always focusing on her grades and on her studies and everything. She does not have a lot of friends and all that kind of stuff, but she's a big fan of Universe City, which is a podcast. She is in love with the creator of that podcast, and that creator of that podcast just opens up a completely new world for her. Now, who is the creator? What does that person do? All those kind of things are answered in this book, and this book is mostly a story of friendship, a very emotional story of friendship. It is the story of different sexualities. I am recommending this book because it's such a simple book, but at the same time it can have a great impact on you emotionally. That is the reason I am telling you one thing for sure. If you have this book already, pick it up already or listen to it as an audiobook for free on Script right now. This is one of the best books and I feel like it can make a lot of people fall in love with reading. The next book I'm going to recommend is So Lucky by Donna. Again, I have recommended this book so many times before, but it is such a good book. It is a thick book, it is a big book, and still I'm recommending it to a beginner because I feel like not all beginners want to start with a thin book and stuff like that. So if you want to start with something dramatic, if you want to feel accomplished, that you finished such a thick book and it was your first book and stuff like that, then you must start with this book. This book is the story of three different women, Lauren, Beth and Ruby. They are struggling with their own life problems. One is not getting intimacy from her husband and she's trying to maintain her life with a newborn child and her work. On the other hand, the other woman is trying to become a good mother, but she has her own protocols set due to her own childhood, whereas Lauren has like this Instagram life and everybody is like, oh my god, her life is so lit, but it's not. It's like completely fake. It is sassy, it is sarcastic, it is very much fun to read. So if you are missing on your drama quotient, if you are missing on your gossip quotient right now due to quarantine, I highly suggest you start reading this book. The next book I'm going to recommend is The Giver by Lois Lowry. Now this is the story of Jonas, who is living in a completely perfect world. That world does not have war, that world does not have hunger, that world does not have poverty and everything, but at the same time that world also does not have emotions, it does not have art, it does not have music. Then Jonas is giving his job and he becomes the receiver of memory. He begins to see the things that nobody in his perfect community can see, and so many things are revealed to him, and he's like, oh my good lord, what is going on? And then he sets on a journey to revive his community, to fulfill his community, to make the community a better place. It is a beautiful book. It is children's fantasy, but I feel like adults need to read this much more than children, because it's children's fantasy. The language is extremely simple. It is a whole new world, it is a whole new community, so you get to imagine a lot of things. It also teaches you how to appreciate being a human with emotions and art and music and everything that we have in our life. The next book I'm going to recommend is Norwegian Wood by Murakami, and I recommend this book to anybody who wants to start with Murakami. I would also suggest it to people who are just starting with reading. It's very easy actually for you to read too, but if you're specifically looking for a book to start with Murakami, then this is the book for you. Over here, Toru falls in love with a girl, and right now he's living in the flashback of what all had happened, and it's kind of like their love story in one line, but at the same time it is so deep. Like, this is the kind of love stories I believe in, because it really portrays the importance of mental health, the importance of space, the importance of knowing yourself first and then falling in love, the importance of not always being physically together and still loving each other like crazy people. So this is one of those books. I love this book, and if you want to read a love story like this, pick this book up. The last fiction book I want to recommend is The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. If you don't imagine a lot, then there's a high possibility that you won't like the book a lot, because it's very descriptive. It talks about each and every element of a room, of a person, of a life, and all those kind of things. It's very descriptive, so if you're not very imaginative, then you may not like this book. It will be a little slow for you, but if you really you have these imaginative skills and all that, then this book is for you. It is the story of Amir and Hassan, who are two childhood friends, and it's about their friendship, because there are a lot of things that happen in their friendship and how it affected both of them and all those kind of things. All I want to say about this book is that it's extremely emotional, and I had cried a lot when I finished reading this book. So if you want to read something like that, if you are ready to cry right now, pick this book up. Coming to non-fiction, the first book I want to recommend is You Are a Bad Ass by Jensen Serio. Now, if you are having issues, especially right now, with self-empowerment, self-love, self-care, and understanding yourself and accepting yourself more, you don't feel good about yourself, then this book is for you. And even if you are not feeling that, I really feel like this is one book that you must read at least once in your life. The language is extremely easy, the author is very candid, she's funny and very real, so it doesn't even feel like you're reading a book, it doesn't feel like that on the head. I'm recommending it to anybody if you want to start reading non-fiction, or even if you're an avid non-fiction reader. This book is awesome for self-empowerment, and it brings out the badass within you. The next book I'm going to recommend is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying by Marie Kondo. I already have a video on how I used the principles of this book to clean and declutter my bookshelf, so I will link that down in the description below. Apart from that, this is about the life-changing magic of tidying. Marie Kondo has explained how tidying the place where you live has a great impact on your life, and I did not even know it has this kind of a great impact on your life. And once I cleared out my bookshelf, I felt it on that day, and I was like, wow. And basically it just talks about the philosophy that anything you own must spark joy within you. If something is not sparking joy within you or is not useful, then I don't even know why you're owning it. Again, the language is very, very easy. It is a very practical book, and if you're starting with non-fiction, you want to read something action based, you want to read something that will actually help you in your practical life, then this is the book for you. The next book I'm going to recommend is Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller. I'm going to recommend this book in the next upcoming video also because it's so awesome. This book teaches you how attitude is everything in your life, and if you have a positive attitude towards yourself, towards the situation of life, towards anything in the world, it completely changes your life, and how attitude is playing such a big role in losing or succeeding in your life. It is so simple, and the author is again very candid. It feels like he's talking to us. It is thin, it is awesome, it is very impactful. So if you are just beginning to start reading non-fiction, you must read this book. The next book I'm going to recommend is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. This is one of those books which is like so good, but at the same time the language is just so easy that you will have a lot of fun reading this book. It is a life-changing book for sure. It is not going to affect only one part of your life. It will like affect your entire life. It will help you take better decisions. It will help you to lead a better life. It will help you to be at peace with yourself, because you start to learn how to give a fuck to all the good shit in your life instead of giving fuck to all the stupid things that don't even deserve your fucking stuff like that. This book is super sarcastic. It is super funny at some points, and Mark Manson is like, oh man, like, oh, I have never ever read a book except this and another book by Sarah Knight. He's like so funny, and he's like literally, it feels like it's so unfiltered. It feels like he's right here, and he's like this sassy friend who makes fun of you all the time but really wants good for you. The next book I'm going to recommend is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is again a thick book, but it is one of the most important books to read if you want to build habits. But at the same time, the language is so easy and it is so well explained. Like everything is so well explained in this book. It is so practical that I don't see why you should read this book even as a beginner. So if you want to build habits, this book talks about the 4 laws that will help you to do so in the most practical way ever, and it also has like the appendix also has some action steps that you can take. Last but not the least, I want to recommend My Life I Decide by Rinku Sahni. I think I have recommended this book also before, but it's so good. And if you're a beginner and you want to understand how to take your own decisions, how to ask yourself the perfect questions, how to live a life that will help you to, like, you know, not love yourself exactly more, but you feel more in control of your own life, how to motivate yourself and stuff like that. This book will teach you everything in such a simple but detailed manner. It's crazy. It's a very simple book. The language is very easy, but at the same time, oh my god, it is one of the most helpful books I read. Even though I read so many self-help books before this book really helped me a lot. I have so many notes made in this book, like it's crazy. So you can pick this book up. These were the books that I would love to recommend to any beginner out there. I am telling you, as a beginner, pick up any of this book and I'm pretty sure you will fall in love with reading. Apart from that, I will try to make more of these videos, at least like one video per month, where I am recommending books to people who do not read, because yeah, like I am going to recommend books to people who read already, but I really want more and more people to read because it is so good and reading can change your life. So I'll try to make more such videos. If you have like specific needs, as in specific questions as to what kind of a book you want, then you can leave it down in the comment section below and I will reply with a suggestion. And that is it. Please do share, subscribe, like, comment, bell button, all those good things. I hope you're staying home. The lockdown got extended so now you have more time to sit and read at home. I know this can be like a very tough time, but yeah, I think reading will really make you feel better, because that is what I'm doing to keep myself sane right now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you are staying safe. I hope you're not going out of your house, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.